I don't intend to be anybody but Joe Biden. That's who I am.
Okay, Brandon.
All the pieces on the board are moving.
Brandon, everything's going to be okay.
But I sincerely mean it. This is a confusing time. Confusing time.
Hey, listen, crybaby.
Why is the price of agricultural products, when I go to the store, why is it higher?
Brandon!
But supply chain. Well, why is everything backed up?
Brandon!
Well, it's backed up because the people who supply the materials that end up being on our kitchen table or in our life. Guess what? They're closed those plants because they have COVID.
Hey, Brandon! How dumb do you think I am?
By the way, everybody internationally uses Build Back Better now. When I used the phrase initially, people looked at me like, Build Back Better.
I will chain you to a pipe!
Don't trash the city.
All Over the Road New Orleans is brought to you by Coin Trader Inc. Mind your money.
Come on, the Coin Trader Studios, we're bringing it live. And who am I? I go by the name of Darkest Night. And Jada Hoyos is the one who brings a sick beat, to which we're getting pumped for topics this week. So let me grab my Greg soda and take a sip, while I turn it over to Katie, Nick, Ted, and Vic. It's all over. We're all over the road. We got a brand new show, so just lo and behold, from the bayou to the city to the burbs to the swamps, you better know what time it is when you're hearing that.
It's another All Over the Road New Orleans podcast with yours truly, the king of all podcasting.
When you look good, you feel good.
Here to DelGiorno here with Teddy Semper. Thank you very much. Ted, it's just you and me again this week, and we got a big shoe coming up here. Big shoe. We're going to talk about the Muppets a little bit because I have been grossly misinformed over my whole entire life about the Muppets. Mm-hmm. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. We're going to talk about the what happened. Maybe a little bit about what happened. This is kind of dated, but I think there's something to talk about here with rapper Travis Scott and the stampede that happened at Astroworld. I didn't even know they had an Astroworld and all that.
Yeah.
And
well,
we're going to
really
talk about sports icons.
Yeah,
we're going to make a couple candid calls. That's on this All Over the Road, the podcast.
Well, yeah, you said Astroworld. That was tore down years ago, so it's not the amusement park.
Yeah, that's what I mean. They tore that down.
Well, I think he just calls it the Astroworld Festival or something like for some reason. Because it's, the Astrodome is still there, though, right?
The Astrodome's still there.
Astrodome's still there. And I think the concert that we're talking about was like next to NRG Stadium, maybe in the parking lot there. Yeah. Nice.
But before we do that, growing up, I don't know. I remember when Sesame Street first came on the scene. I guess it was the late 60s or something like that.
Yeah.
And I was always under the impression, Teddy, that the puppets on Sesame Street, Bert and Ernie and all that, and the Muppets were the same thing. But apparently they're not. Now, I remember, I think I remember Miss Piggy being on Sesame Street. Was she not?
I don't know. Jeez, gosh.
I wish we had a Muppet.
I'm kind of like you.
Expert.
Like it all kind of blends together, and I thought they were all friends and all hung out together.
Yeah, I mean,
they're two.
But apparently
entities.
they're two different things.
Yeah. So I don't know. What was it?
It's just more Muppet stuff.
Oh, okay.
But I was wondering. I mean, did you know anyone that could possibly be a Muppet expert? Someone that could clear this up for us? The Muppet.
Well, my daughter Mary might be.
Do you think she's up for a candid phone call?
You never know. She's at work. If not, she'll let us know real quick. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, she doesn't hold anything back, that's for sure.
Yeah, she'll let us know real
All right, let's see if she knows anything about
this. I'm looking up her number. You have her number.
Of course I have her number.
This is Mary Semper with Sanserve Janitorial.
Okay.
Sorry, can I answer your phone, but please leave a message and we'll get back to you soon.
She's not even with
Thanks.
that company.
She's not. Was this a wrong number?
You'll
At
leave
the
a
tone,
message.
please record your message. When you've finished recording, you may hang up or press 1 for more options.
Hey, Mary, you need to change your voicemail. It's your Uncle Vic. And it says you're with a company you're no longer with.
She's with Billy Harriman now.
You're with Billy Harriman.
Florist.
Yeah,
she's not with that.
You're not washing toilets anymore, Mary.
Yeah. Hey.
Okay.
Yeah. Damn.
Mary, give us a call back if you get this message in the next few minutes.
Call
back my number.
Very important question for you. If you can't, please hang up.
We need an expert on a certain issue. Yeah, is what we need there. So anyway, maybe she'll call us back.
Trying to think
but
of
apparently, now I lived in Houston for a good bit. All right, you know that.
Yeah.
Okay,
You did right after Katrina.
after Katrina.
Yeah, 2 or 3 years maybe.
And I remember being younger and there being an Astroworld. You go and go on the rides and everything. So I was a little confused when I heard that rapper Travis Scott story where they had a concert in Astroworld, which I guess is just an outdoor.
Well, I think you're confused though. They're not saying in Astroworld.
They called it Astroworld.
Well, I think the festival, which I had never heard of before, is called Astroworld Festival, right? Music festival.
Okay, but when you see
And
this,
Astroworld is actually across 610.
Astroworld is
side.
gone, but I still saw a Ferris wheel in the background.
Oh, well, maybe they set up some rides.
But apparently they had this concert,
I don't
and
know.
a shot rang out, and they had a stampede. And there were people that were killed and people that were injured. Very sad story.
Something went wrong.
And something went wrong there. Now, when we're taping the show, we don't have all the details yet, but the details by the time you hear this will be out. So maybe you heard about it or you didn't hear about it.
The amazing part is that what was already said is that somebody from the crowd was yelling up to Travis Scott on stage and telling him that somebody died in the back, and he stopped momentarily, then he started up again for another 30 minutes. That's not good. Unless he didn't understand what this person was saying. I get it. There's 50,000 people. There's a lot of people.
Yeah, and then he had a Vegas show scheduled and he canceled that. Now, have you ever heard of Travis Scott?
Me? No, I have not. But, he's, I don't know if they're married, but one of the Kardashian girls, what's her name? Kylie Jenner.
Oh, the younger one.
So he's, I don't know if they're married, but they have a child together. Kylie Jenner.
Okay.
And I just read this after.
Yeah, because Kylie is one of Bruce's kids.
Right.
Bruce's kids are the two younger.
Bruce
Kylie and Kaylee, I think. Is it? I get those names
Former
wrong.
Bruce Jenner.
Well, whoever he is now.
Yeah. But and I understand she's pregnant again.
Okay.
So that's
But is it Kylie and Kaylee? Kaylee and Kylie?
I don't know who Kaylee is.
It's Kylie.
Kylie
I get all those mixed up. Kristen.
Kirsten.
I get them all.
Confusing me now. Stop it.
All right, it's time for a Candid phone
Who
call.
we calling? You gonna tell me?
You'll know
right.
when they pick up.
All right, see if they pick up.
Hello?
Michael.
Is this Michael?
Yes, it is.
Michael, you are on live on the All Over the Road podcast with the king of all podcasting, Victor DelGiorno, and your big brother, Theodore Semper.
How about that?
Well, I'm shocked and delighted at the same time.
Well, the word is honored.
You're honored.
You're honored. No, we're honored to have you.
We are honored to have you. Of course, I had a reunion with Michael not too long ago, a few weeks back at Ted's daughter's wedding, Mary's wedding.
Vic, we're still talking about it.
Who's still talking about it?
My dad and I.
Your dad? Well, your dad's
talking about the wedding.
Yeah, because you worked out the table arrangement.
I did.
Which was always a big concern when you have somebody in a wheelchair.
Yeah,
you
and the table.
Exactly what to do, and then that was very, like a very spontaneous thing that we had to deal with. We'd never been there before, so I didn't know how to get about there for that the setting that was out in the ground. So you can't do that after.
Well, the thing,
Louisiana rain.
Here he goes.
Yeah, he's a talker. He'll take it. He'll take it. He'll take it from here.
Oh my God!
So just to clarify that our dad, and maybe you can get somewhere where the phone's kind of muffled out. It's kind of a little hard to understand.
You got me on a speaker or something.
Yeah. If it's a speaker,
take us off the speaker.
But our dad is 92 years old, okay, and he made the trip. My brother, who's on the phone, Michael, and my dad, they made the trip down from the Chicago area all the way. It's it's over about 1,000 miles.
It's a hike. Yeah.
That's a good travel. That's a distance.
We took another trip prior to the wedding. We went to the Gulf Coast in a few different states in Biloxi and then towards Louisiana. So it was about a 3-week trip, which was really good because you just don't know how many more trips he's going to be able to do.
Yeah, that's true.
And,
He's a delightful man. Delightful man. Now listen. Let me go back because I want to go back and talk about the table. Because we needed the table. It was kind of a nasty night. The weather wasn't.
So this is at my daughter Mary's
reception. Yeah.
Reception, October 1st.
October the 1st.
And Vic hadn't seen Michael. I don't know if you've. I think
30
you've
years,
met, but it's
30
been a
years. Long time ago.
Long time.
Yeah. So we had to do something for Ted and Michael's dad, and so I saw this wrought iron looking table. And I said, my God, this thing's going to be heavy. But come to find out, it was plastic. I just picked it up. I looked like Superman or something. Picked it up. Yeah, that's wrought iron.
Look at that guy.
Yeah, we all thought you were Superman. You mean you're not?
I got it.
Oh,
I got this.
Thought it was heavy.
Yeah. So we get the table in there and everything. And what I really liked about it is that Michael, I mean, in the beginning of the night, he's got his white button-down shirt. It's buttoned up and everything. Well, by the end of the night, he's like freaking Tom Jones. Oh, yeah. That thing is buttoned all the way down to his belly. He's sweating like a hoe in church.
Well, that wasn't a suit made for Louisiana humidity. So
it was a little warm that night.
It was a necessity where I had to take it off.
But I was impressed at how much of a social butterfly you were. You were going around you were working the room. Mm-hmm. Where do you get this from? Because Teddy's not like that. Teddy's not like that.
He might have got that from our mom. She was more like that.
He was actually like that. Yes, yeah. I disagree with everybody when they say that about Teddy.
He's sticking up for you now.
I think Teddy is a social guy.
Oh,
or he wouldn't be on the, yeah, that's the way I feel. I think we are pretty much at the same level in that regard. But we had a really good time. And listen, I don't get to go to my niece's wedding very often.
No, and you had a good time. Now, I had left a little prematurely, come to find out.
Yes, I was concerned about that.
Well, I'm off my game when I'm in Baton Rouge for a few reasons. One of them being my mom had some medical problems there, and we had her at Our Lady of the Mistake Hospital, and I just get this weird feeling when I go to Baton Rouge. But I hear that by the end of the night, you were cutting the rug out there, huh? Mm-hmm. You're out there dancing, doing the Tom Jones thing, and I think there was even at one point I heard you got a handkerchief wet and threw it out in the crowd, and these women fought over it. Is what I heard. I really did that happen?
Gosh, who have you been talking to? That's a complete lie. That's a complete lie.
I might have made it up.
I did not see any handkerchiefs. I didn't see any money thrown at me. Nothing like that. But I did get to dance with my niece. That was my goal. It was a very strategic goal because she was in high demand that night.
Of course.
And everybody wanted to dance with her, and I was probably the last person on her mind. I don't know. I had barely even talked to her that night. And so I just went out there at the right moment and tapped her on the shoulder, and she looked around and saw me, and we just started dancing.
Yeah.
So
made it happen.
That's how it goes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, while I got you on the phone, we tried to get a hold of Mary about this. Are you familiar with the Muppets at all? Are you a Muppets? Do you know anything about the Muppets?
No, I'm a little bit earlier than the Muppets.
Okay.
But I think I've seen a couple of the films. Yeah.
What did you say?
You said what?
I've seen a few of the films that were made.
He saw some of the films.
The Muppet films.
Not recently.
But that's about it.
Oh. Okay.
You heard about Winnie the Pooh. We talked about this on the last show. You heard about Winnie the Pooh getting canceled by Disney because he doesn't wear pants. Did you hear about that?
Yeah.
That is a joke, right?
No, it's not a joke. It's true.
Well,
it is a joke, but it's true.
Yeah,
it's a true joke.
It is a joke, but it's true. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good that you clarified that.
Well,
there's a lot of things happening in the world that are
crazy
that we would never imagine happening 20 years ago.
So y'all know Big Bird, right? Big Bird and the Muppets. They're not connected, right?
No, that would be Sesame Street.
See,
Sesame
I
Street
get
is Big Bird. Well, Big Bird was on a CNN town hall the other day, and you know how they now they I guess they said that the FDA approved for 5 to 11-year-olds to get the vaccine, or whatever it is, and so they asked Big Bird. Big Bird says he's going to get vaccinated. What the heck is that propaganda?
Look at the size of that bird. He's already getting shot up with steroids or something.
Yeah.
That's propaganda. That's what that is.
Yeah.
They're using Big Bird as a vehicle to get us all shot up.
Now, look, when you left to go back home with your dad, did you stop at a casino on the way back?
Mm-hmm.
A casino.
On the way home.
I lost track of how many because Biloxi is pretty much Casino Row.
But I don't think they stopped on the way back.
You didn't stop on the way. You did the whole
casino,
shot?
as far as I know.
Other than Baton Rouge, no. There is one close to where we live up here, though. There is a Hard Rock about.
So no, correct me if I'm wrong here. Your dad, he's a little immobile, and he's 92 years old, which, God, to live that long is a blessing in itself.
Mm.
Yeah.
But apparently he's kind of lethargic at times. But when you bring up the word casino, or as they say down here in New Orleans, casina, he kind of perks up a little.
Yeah.
Does he kind of perk up a little?
Who have you been talking to?
Yeah, I wonder.
I can only imagine who that person is because it's all true. And you would know that because you don't know that much about my dad.
I'm far-reaching,
But
Michael.
It's
My knowledge.
absolutely true. Now, the last time he went, though, was a disaster.
Oh.
The machine tricked fake where it just kind of, let's say, $100 bill went in record-breaking time. It was gone. So that's never happened to me before because he usually knows what he's doing a little bit. He used to be, maybe he's just kind of losing.
So he
it.
sticks a croaker in the machine. So, Michael, he sticks a croaker in the machine, and they take his money and they don't give him credits. Is that what you're saying?
Well, it's just like you could, if you don't watch it, you play 5 times, right? So that quarter adds up to, however much it is. And then, so every time you press the button, you get 5 plays. So it was a little tricky situation. So we finally caught him, but it was a little bit too late. So he lost his money. So he wasn't really upset because I always, whenever he would want to go to the casino, I always say, go there expecting to lose and to have fun.
Well, of course, you have to do that.
Well, let's just say it just say that he's 92-year-old dad. Dad. He doesn't. He's traveled a lot in the past. He doesn't like to travel now, and understandably. But this was his niece's wedding, right? And we really wanted him to be there, so he had to be a little enticed.
It was his granddaughter's wedding.
It was Michael's niece. I'm sorry, his granddaughter's. Right. I'm sorry. And it was his granddaughter's wedding, and he had to be enticed just a little bit with the casino part of the trip.
Yes.
So that's why they hit. Yeah, and I'll tell you this. Friday morning, the day of the wedding, he wakes up and he says he didn't feel well. He's a little stubborn. He's like, I don't feel well.
And you told him there's going to be
Michael.
You told him there's going to be blackjack. There's going to be blackjack at the reception.
He said, I'm not going.
He says, I'm not going. But I didn't use the casino in that case. I just said, Dad, you're going. You're here. You're going, right? But the next day, it was actually Sunday. He's like, well, let's go. He wanted to go home. And Michael wanted to stay another day. So we used the casino card on that day.
You're thinking of the trip in February. This time, what he did, the morning of the wedding, he got up and he didn't really say he didn't feel well. He just says, I'm not going.
Yeah.
So he does that quite often where he just out of the blue, he'll come up with something like that.
When you're 92, you could do that.
Ted and I looked at each other. It's one of Ted's most important days of his life, no doubt. And we just looked at each other like, is this really happening? Well, did he really say that? So he was pretty persistent and he just didn't get it. So then he took a nap and he woke up and he was basically saying, what time are we going? So he does that a lot. You just have to know him.
Well, it was good to see him. It was really good to see you, and definitely keep in touch. We want to keep in touch here. Okay, we'll have you on another show, and we'll keep in touch. So, you might want to think of something you might want to talk about on the next episode. Okay?
Yeah, because we will.
Look at next time you're in Chicago.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna be in Chicago this week.
Yeah,
I'm going to be in Chicago, but I'm going to be real busy.
Really?
I'm going to be real busy.
Okay. Well,
extremely busy.
Time, definitely busy.
But,
the next time
but you're one of the few. You're one of the few I've told, because there's a lot of people in Chicago who would probably like to know if I'm there, and I haven't told them. They're going to find out now. But anyway, I think that we're doing here, which you're a big follower of the show, and we do appreciate that.
Love the show.
And you even got someone at the wedding to subscribe to the show. He's talking to this young girl. Before you know it, she's subscribing to the show. He's a great promo. He's a great PR guy. He's a PR Mike.
Yeah.
I don't blow smoke either because my brother's on the show. I like the show. And I listen to it because I like New Orleans, but I also like the style of the show.
Thank you.
And I like the interaction, and I'm very selective. I think as I move along through the internet, and I'm not really into too much social media, but I'm very selective of what I listen to these days.
Well, you'd be interested in this. One of the things that we're doing right now is we're trying to appeal to the people that follow the show, listen to the show, subscribe to the show, that they like the show on a regular basis. And come to find out, there's a guy who's a jiu-jitsu guru, a guy by the name of Eddie Bravo. We're going to try to get on the show. He loves the show. He follows it, lives in Southern California. But we're trying to get people that follow the show, listen to the show on a regular basis, to let us know so we can get them on the show and ask them what they like about it, what they don't. They're kind of like an on-air focus group.
Yeah.
I think that'd be a good
Right.
idea.
Okay, pick their brain a little bit,
Yeah,
maybe.
pick their brain a little
See
bit,
what
see
they
what's
like,
going on.
dislike,
So-
maybe, whatever.
So if you are someone that follows the show, you listen to the show, you like the show, contact us, either DM us on the Facebook page or go to our listener line, which is 601 Route 66. It's Michael Semper, live from Chicago, and we appreciate you being on, buddy.
Well, actually, it's south of Lake Michigan, Northwest Indiana. Not quite Chicago. but
Hobart,
Chicago.
Indiana.
When a man named Al Capone tried to make that town his own, and he called his gang to war with the forces of the law. I heard my mom.
Remember the song that came out in the 70s by Paper Lace, The Night Chicago Died? Oh, yeah. Remember that song,
Right.
Michael?
Yes, I do.
And it starts off with
I remember actually the songs made about New Orleans even more.
Oh,
There's so
okay.
many great songs.
There
I
are.
mean, there's
He
so
loves
many
New
great
Orleans, you
songs.
can tell.
But in the song, Paper Lace, The Night Chicago Died, the beginning, the first line in the song is, "My daddy was a cop in the east side of Chicago." The east side of Chicago is Lake Michigan.
There is no east.
There is no east side.
Now, that's somebody that didn't do their research or is
Yeah.
lying, but I don't know. I don't know what to say about that.
Like, we got to
Yeah,
move on.
appreciate
We got to move on. Michael Semper, give him another hand. There you go, Michael Semper.
There he is. my
Live
brother.
from suburban
That's my brother.
Chicago.
That's my little brother.
That's Teddy's little brother,
How about that? Biological brother. How about that?
biologically speaking. Did you notice, Teddy, I don't know if you noticed it or not, that they canceled Columbus Day this year? Well, they didn't cancel it, but it's no longer Columbus Day. Did you know that?
Oh, is that Indigenous Day? Or
It's
something?
Indigenous Peoples Day.
Yeah, yeah.
So could you kind of explain that to me? What is it? What is that?
The indigenous
exactly?
people, those are the Indians, right?
I guess.
I mean, I don't think they did away with Columbus Day, but I think they created this indigenous, I can't say it, Indigenous Day. Didn't Obama create that?
I don't know, but Columbus
On the
Day
same
is one of the
day as Columbus Day, for obvious reasons, I guess, you know.
Well, if you're of
Crazy.
Italian descent,
Yeah.
like myself, 100% Italian descent, Columbus Day is a big day. I mean, it's a holiday. It's a big holiday, and so I was looking at my calendar.
Yeah.
You know, you get the calendar every year. I get the one that you get on your desk, and you know, it's a desk calendar.
Right.
And on there it said Columbus Day / Indigenous Peoples
okay.
Day,
Yeah.
plural. And I was just wondering what the heck that was.
Yeah. Well,
So maybe someone can shed some light on that and let us know what's going on with that Indigenous.
I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with having an Indigenous Day, but why make it on the same day as Columbus Day?
We used to celebrate Columbus Day, but now we celebrate Indigenous Peoples Day. First off, let's define indigenous. The native people, original inhabitants, living on every single continent. Then somebody shows up and says, I discovered it. How can you discover somewhere already found? Or take
because they're trying to nudge out Columbus.
Well, that's right.
They're nudging them.
Yeah. So put it on another day, the next day, whatever.
That's what I'm thinking.
Any day,
That's what I'm thinking.
other day.
So now, do you know the kid that was on our show one time? He's a kid in the neighborhood, little Michael Loria. Remember that kid?
Yeah, down the street.
Michael Loria down the street. Okay,
Yeah.
he's been on the show. He's a big fan of the show. I mean,
Yeah.
as a matter of fact, the whole family, they sit around like old time radio.
They do?
as a family, and they listen to the show. And so he's a kid that's in the neighborhood, and he's kind of like let me see if I can get this straight. He's one of 3 brothers, and they're all pretty athletic,
Okay.
except Micah.
Except Micah.
Yeah, but he's got other qualities.
Yeah.
Hello?
Hey, Gwen.
Yeah.
Hey, Gwen. Victor DelGiorno and Ted Semper. You're on the air all over the road, the podcast. I hope we didn't ambush you. It's Candid call day, Candid phone call day, and we decided to call you.
Can I decline the call?
Well, it's too late.
Well,
You're already on.
You already answered, but
You're already on.
I guess you can't hang
You
up.
need to be a little more selective of the calls that you answer.
I thought you were calling to be concerned about Micah.
Well, that's exactly, Ted. What did I say before we made the phone
why
call?
we called.
Because
Exactly
Micah
right.
doesn't have a phone, does he?
Right.
No.
Okay, so I can't call Micah. So now I was setting it up on Micah, talking about the 3 boys and where Micah's spot is in there, and apparently he was on one of the electric motorbikes, correct? And now tell me exactly what happened. And I want to know, why wasn't someone watching him? Well, I guess he's at that age you don't have to watch him, huh?
Well, you want to give him a little bit of liberty. However, you do have to keep a close eye on him because of things like this. Things like this do happen,
Well, normally you have to keep an eye
on.
on. Well, normally
You
you
want
have
another?
Well, let me just say this. Normally, when you don't keep an eye on him, he's over here, and I'm giving him chips and soda pops, which you don't let him have over there, right? Don't you?
Yeah, I've told him a number of times not to take candy and chips from strangers.
Yeah. Well, Vic's not considered a stranger. Maybe that's the problem.
That's the problem.
Maybe he should be.
Well, he's the guy. He's the kid that what is he, 14? 15?
Yeah.
He's 14?
He's 14, yeah.
He's never had a Big Mac, Teddy.
What?
He's never had a Big Mac. So I've been trying to get him to come get a Big Mac, help the kid out, turn him on to a Big Mac.
Take him out for his first Big Mac?
Yeah, 14. First
I don't
Big
know.
Mac.
Mom, would you approve of that?
No.
Okay. Vic, take him out for something else.
So did he hit a bump?
Run it by Mom first.
Did he hit a bump? Did he hit a curb? Did he just fall off? Was he drinking? What was happening there?
Okay, so he was over at the 17th Street Canal fishing. He met up with a friend of his.
Yeah. 17th Street Canal. What are you going to catch in that place? You might catch a body. Who knows?
Yeah.
So he's fishing in the 17th Street Canal. I can't imagine that, but he was.
They meet up with met up with a friend of his that had a gas-powered motorcycle.
Oh, that's what happened.
And so Micah was doing a little
test drive.
Yeah, a little wild driving and, crashed.
Where did this happen? Did this happen by the canal or back in the neighborhood?
On top of the canal, yeah.
Oh, man, that's dangerous. Isn't that dangerous?
Yeah.
Is that a little dangerous, Gwen?
It's like I think it's a boyhood battle scar.
It's a rite of passage. It's a rite of passage.
So how was he hurt badly or
Yeah.
what? Or what? How's he doing?
Yeah. He's at the hospital right now.
Is he really?
Yeah.
Well, what happened? I saw him yesterday. He had a soft cast on. So what happened? He had some more problems and you had to bring him back in?
Right. We had an appointment today with a pediatric orthopedic surgeon. And before we came in, they looked at the x-rays and said, don't come here, go straight to the ER. It needs to be reset.
Ooh.
So you're with him?
Actually, no. I sent my mother, who's calm. She's the calming goat.
Very
so we
calm.
sent Carol.
She's a salt of the earth.
That's smart. Yeah.
Wonderful lady. Carolyn Asbury, one of my favorite people.
Well, how is Micah, how is he handling it, mentally? How is he?
That's a good question, Ted.
How's he doing with that?
He's so tough. He's great.
Yeah.
Making jokes.
Yeah.
Of course.
It sounds like Micah.
Teddy, if you don't watch it, he'll be my next co-host. If you don't watch
I think he'd be great.
You'd love that, huh?
I'm not going to be around forever. I get it. I'm just passing through.
Well, since we're on the subject of doctors and everything, I think it'd be appropriate for me to do this. And hang on the line, and you can listen to this here too, Gwen, okay? Because that reminds me of the last time I went to my infectious disease doctor.
Yeah.
Okay, you ever watch SpongeBob?
Yeah.
Gwen, you watch SpongeBob?
No.
You do any SpongeBobbing over there? Gwen?
No.
No? Okay. Well, on SpongeBob, sometimes they'll show you something real gross, like a pimple, let's say, and then they zoom in on it, and they show you this hairy, gross-looking pimple.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I mean, that's what they do. So I was going to see my infectious disease doctor. I hate to admit that on the air, but I do see an infectious disease doctor regularly because I happen to come down with staph infections now and then.
Okay.
So I go there, and so the actual sore that I have is under my armpit. Okay. So, before I go to the doctor, Gwen, I do a little shaving, so they can see the wound. All right. So I go there, and it's time for me to show the wound to the infectious disease doctor, Dr. DePaula, over at East Jefferson.
Gwen, feel free to hang up at any time. We don't want to make you sit through this.
No, she wants to sit through this. Trust me.
But I just given her the option.
Okay. Well, thank you for that.
Yeah.
And as soon as I lifted up my armpit, it was like there was 500 people in the room. They all went, "Oh!
Oh my God!"
Like they were looking at this big giant hairy pork chop or something.
That's never good.
And I go, doctor, excuse me? Mm-hmm. He goes, well, that's something. I said, how long have you been an infectious disease doctor? Oh, 20 years.
It's a good while.
I said, so is it that bad? I mean, with the woo, this is this is an unusual response. You would think after 20 years, you've seen about just every boil you could possibly see.
Yeah.
That's what they call them. They call them boils.
Okay.
Or don't they? Is that what they call them, Gwen? You have a medical background.
Oh, yeah.
It's a boil. And he was just floored by the way it looked. And I thought, seriously, because I'd been on these antibiotics, nothing's killing this thing. You know, it's the size of a butt roast.
Yeah.
Like a golf ball in my armpit. I thought they were going to send me over to the hospital like they did Micah.
Yeah.
You know, like, oh, but put me on an IV. And see, one thing I'm not, especially in today's age with the COVID and all this, I'm not going to no hospital.
Right.
The only time I would go to a hospital is if I can't breathe. Like, I can't breathe.
Yeah.
Then you go. But anyway, I will say this, and this is the rest of the story. The boil is no longer with me. See it, Teddy? It's gone. There's some scar tissue.
There we go. Turn this way a little bit.
There's some scar tissue.
Yeah.
It's pretty much
What'd they do?
gone.
Cut it off?
No, it just kind of went away. They gave me this heavy-duty antibiotic.
So the doctor, now he could use you as an example. For,
I don't know.
I've seen this before, and we handled it.
That's right.
Just don't mention my name.
They were taking pictures,
DelGiorno.
though. They were taking pictures.
They did? Yeah.
All right, Gwen, so he's at the hospital now, right?
Go.
Yeah. I'm
Okay.
glad you're well.
Okay, well, tell him that we asked about him, and we wanted to make sure that he was all right, okay?
Yeah, tell him we called.
Thanks for being a good sport and being on the big show today. Gwen Loria, ladies and gentlemen. On the listener line here at All Over the Road, the podcast. She's a delightful lady, huh?
She is, yeah.
So don't forget that coming up on the next show, we're going to have Eddie Bravo on. He is a jiu-jitsu guru.
I thought he was going to be on this show.
Well, he's not on this show. He's on the next show. I thought he was going to be on this show, but I'm going to tease it more. You got to tease it. This guy's world famous.
Coming at a future show.
I'll bet you Luke Hawks has heard of him.
Probably so. Yeah.
And apparently he follows the show. And once again, if you do follow the show, be sure to let us know because we want to definitely talk to you.
And Luke, we know you shared the show. We
Luke
appreciate
shares the show, and that's one good thing about him.
And puts his word out about it too. He put in a little compliment, a little plug, might say.
So we're getting ready. I'm getting ready to go out of town this week, Teddy, as you know. Mm-hmm. And what really gets me about traveling, and I do quite a bit of traveling, as you know, with my business, and is what a lot of people wear on these airplanes.
Uh-huh.
I mean, it's worse than Walmart. When people go to Walmart, they take a lot of fashion risks. Mm-hmm. And on airplanes, they even take it one step further.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm getting ready to get on a plane. I think I was going to New York. I don't know, 2-3 weeks ago. And so there's this young lady walking around the airport with a long T-shirt on. So a lot of times, these kids wear these long T-shirts and they may have short shorts underneath.
Right.
And you don't see the short because the T-shirt's too long. And you figure, that's why you don't see the short because the T-shirt's going down to like her knees.
Yeah, right.
And so, okay, all right. And she's wearing her slippers. I mean, what happens if you end up in the water? I mean, you got to climb on the wing of the plane. You're wearing slippers. Who wears a slipper? Who wears slippers on an airplane? I mean, I want something with traction.
Right. Yeah. Slippers. Not.
I don't even take my shoes off. I go to bed with my shoes on.
You do?
In case I have to run. Oh yeah, you never know.
Just in case.
You never know. So there she is. She's I'm just sitting there. I'm waiting. I'm at the gate waiting. So she walks over to the drinking fountain, to get a drink of water. She bends over to the drinking fountain. Well, guess what? There's nothing under that T-shirt.
Ooh.
Nothing. And so I'm thinking to myself, should this be reported? I mean, what do you do when you see something like that? I mean, there's nothing under the T-shirt. Mm-hmm. She's bending over to get to the water fountain.
You got a full view, huh?
What do you do?
Yeah.
I mean, so what do you do? So if you go to the Facebook page and DM us or something, give me some suggestions. I mean, should I have reported that? Should I have because you can't unsee it? Mm-hmm. I guess it.
I don't know. I probably wouldn't report it myself.
It just threw me.
Just Hey, I mentioned Luke, and remember last time I was, or he was on the podcast. What was it, about a month ago? Yeah. And we went to the rally, and he came out to the rally, and I had the flat tire.
That's right.
On the way to the restaurant that we were meeting at to have dinner. Me, you, Luke, and his girlfriend,
Sonia.
Yeah. So I just want to say thanks to Luke for his help. It was kind of an interesting night for me because we left the city park where the rally was. Mm-hmm. Is for Vina win. And then we went to, what was the name of the restaurant we were headed to? Sala restaurant. Yeah, and I wasn't totally familiar. And you had left, we were all in our own cars. So you had left first. So you were pretty much already there, I guess. And I was following Luke in his vehicle.
His lowrider
vehicle Impala. Yeah. That's what he's got, an awesome car,
Blades,
and he's like, just follow me, because I didn't know exactly where it was. And so I did. We're coming up City Park right there before I-10, and it's dark, and I'm pretty close to him because I didn't want anybody to cut in between us. because I wanted to follow him. So he cuts over to the right lane to make his entrance into I-10. I cut over as well, and I hit this huge hole. I mean, it was huge. And you said you had seen it.
Yes,
you told us later that you saw it, and I didn't see it. Luke hit it as well, but that just goes to show. When he drives that Impala, what year is that car?
It's like a 70
something.
Yeah.
And I drive a 15 BMW, and immediately blows out my tire. But it didn't go flat immediately. So I made it to the restaurant, which was near the lakefront. It wasn't too far, but I could see where the tire pressure was going down, all the way. We get there. The funny part is, so we get there, and Luke's like, you're already at the table. You're, waiting for us, and with Luke's girlfriend and waiting for us. And Luke's like, well, let's just, you want to just change the tire now? I was like, yeah, I just, get it out of the way. We're going to have to change. So we open the trunk. I have no spare tire. And it's not that I don't have a spare tire. My car does not come with a spare tire. And I didn't know, and Luke didn't know. Well, I guess I can't expect him to know.
What kind of car doesn't come with a spare tire?
I should know. It's my car. And I've had the car for 3 years.
What the heck?
And so we're looking in the trunk, and we're ripping the trunk, practically ripping it apart, looking for a spare tire. There's no spare tire. Luke's on his phone. He's Googling it. He's watching videos on how to find the spare tire on a BMW. And I called the guy who works on my car. He's from Turkey. He's like, you don't have a spare tire. I'm like, what?
I know.
I'm supposed to have run flat tires, which I didn't. Run flat tires, another thing I learned. You may know this.
What's that?
Or they're tires that for cars like mine, that they don't go completely flat, that where you can still drive on them at, I think, at about 40 miles an hour. But, at least you can go. Because I didn't have a run flat, so it went totally flat. So I had to leave it there last night. I spent the night here with you and your wife, and went to the next day, and
we had a little sleepover.
So it turned out. But I just wanted to say, thanks to Luke for his help, or tried to help.
Well, he's a good guy.
He is a good guy.
He's a good guy.
Yeah.
So we didn't get to the sports icon topic today, but we'll get to it on the next show. It's a very interesting perspective on what media is today and what it was back in the old days with people like Michael Jordan. Even Michael Jordan. I mean, you'd think Michael Jordan. I mean, these are the icon sports people. You got your Wayne Gretzky, you got your Muhammad Ali, you got your Babe Ruth, you got your Michael Jordan, and there was one other guy that was on his way to being that, and something happened, and he didn't become that. And we're going to talk about that on the next All Over the Road, the podcast. So make sure you're on hand for that. So, Teddy, thank you. It's good you and me again, huh?
Yeah, just like the old days, but
back.
Yeah, it's always fun. It's always fun.
It was good. I want to thank Michael Semper for being on. I want to thank... who else was on here today? We had Gwen Loria.
Yeah, Micah's mother, right?
Micah's mother. Yeah. Get well soon, Micah.
Yeah, thinking about you, Micah.
We are thinking about you.
Be careful on those bikes, motorbikes.
Those things are dangerous.
And what is this, fishing in the 17th Street Canal? I don't know.
We might have to talk to Don Dubuque about that.
Yeah, right.
See if that's a viable fishing water way.
Is that a good spot? Is that a spot? I don't know.
Yeah. If you have a cow, make sure he doesn't flagellate too much. We'll see you next time on All Over the Road, the podcast. Thank you very much.
Please clean up, NOLA.
Come on, Coin Trader Studios, we're bringing it live. And who am I? I go by the name of Darkest Night. And Jada Hoyos is the one who brings a sick beat, to which we're getting pumped for topics this week. So let me grab my grape soda and take a sip, while I turn it over to Katie, Nick, Ted, and Vic. It's all over. We're all over the road. We got a brand new show, so just lo and behold, from the bayou to the city to the burbs to the swamps, you better know what time it is when you're hearing that.
All Over the Road and their staff and management would like to thank you for 2 seasons, embarking on season 3. Thanks from All Over the Road. This is the announcer guy speaking.
Somebody at the White House has been smoking the devil's lettuce.
None of you will have your taxes raised. Anyone making less than $400,000 will not see a penny in taxes raised. You'll actually see your standard of living go up and your costs go down.
We're in a situation where there's a lot of anxiety. Gas prices are up exceedingly high. So there's a lot of things that have people that are really a great deal of anxiety, a great deal of concern. Since I came into office, we're in a situation where people don't I mean, they don't feel it right now.
Frankly, I can't because I can't get my head that far up my rear end.
You know, Ted, I think Steam is beginning to pick up with the listener line.
You feel it?
I do.
Yeah, good.
Especially since you put the correct number on the website.
It did help dramatically to actually have the correct number posted. Yes, it did.
And that was designed to do what, Nick?
To drive people to call in and leave a message and get us to do either something or just ask us a question, anything that's on their mind. They can drop by anytime.
And we want to hear their what, Ted?
Their stories.
We want to hear their stories. This is what we promise you in season 3. More stories, more stories, more stories. And one other thing, much cleaner underwear.
601
Route 66 768 8366.
That's it.
That's the one. That's the correct number.
All Over the Road New Orleans is brought to you by Coin Trader Inc. Mind your money.